Hi, everyone. We're just going to give it a couple minutes to make sure everyone is in the Zoom room before we get started. Okay, so my name is Betty, and I am from our Orientation and Transition Programs office. On behalf of our office, I'd like to welcome you to our Wednesday webinar series. Our series are designed to help students with the transition and arrival to UVA. So we want you to learn more about the resources and our programs that are available to you before you get to ground so you can hit the ground running when you start your fall semester. I have a couple general reminders to share with you before we actually get started with our webinar. So keep in mind there are some new tasks in your portal coming up, so be aware of those task items and those deadlines that are rolling out. So make sure that you're also checking your UVA email address regularly. There's a lot of communications being sent from both our office and the university, so you want to make sure you're prepped for those, especially before your upcoming summer orientation. Um, it's also really important for you in terms of taking ownership of your college experience. But if you have any questions, feel free to email our orientation office. Our email address is orientation@virginia.edu, and we'll get you connected to the resources or the answers that you need. If you miss anything or need to refer to anything that's mentioned throughout this particular webinar, you'll be able to go to our Wednesday webinars website, and on our page, you'll find recordings from this webinar and any of our past webinar topics as well. We also have a few more webinars scheduled for this summer, so make sure you're aware of those upcoming topics. You're free to use the Q&A feature in the Zoom room. If you want to submit questions to any of our panelists here, they'll be monitoring that and be able to answer any of those throughout. So with all that being said, I'll introduce our speakers. They are from a few different offices here, and they're actually going to introduce themselves, but they are all working in offices, and their work is related to student engagement at UVA in some capacity. So engagement, leadership opportunities, mentorship opportunities. They have actually a lot of services that they cover, so they're going to share all that and answer any questions you have. All right, so Dave is going to take it away and start us off here.
Thanks, Betty. Good afternoon, evening, everybody. My name is Dave Marquis. I'm the Director for Student Engagement here at UVA. I'm going to have the opportunity to introduce and share some friends with you from the Direct Student Engagement Unit. And then obviously we have a couple of other offices that are joining us as well. So we're going to run through student engagement first, which is our central office in the Division of Student Affairs. And then I will throw it off to a couple of our partners as well to speak. So first things first, I don't know why this isn't working, but there we go. That's me. That's Dave Marquis. Tyree Mathis isn't here with us, but on the call is Brittany, Marie Claire, Tanisha, and maybe Addie's joined us too at this point. I haven't really checked, but for sure, a few friends will be able to speak for us within the group. I just wanted to give just a brief overview of what student engagement does. So every Who has a story and we help you write yours. That's kind of our general tagline. What our responsibility is to really help you find opportunities and experiences outside of the classroom. So when classes end for the day, what do you do? Where do you go? And all the folks that are on the call today are really going to be able to help answer that for you, but the main student engagement office is a good first step to lots of different experiences and opportunities. We provide opportunities for leadership. We have opportunities for CIOs and student organizations, uh, also advising for some direct organizations and campus-wide programming, in addition to some spaces and places where students hang out and expend a lot of your time. So with that being said, just kind of kick it off here really quickly. We do advise some groups directly, and so we want to kind of prompt you all to take a look at some of these opportunities that'll be coming up. So Blueprint Leadership Program and Women's Leadership Development Program are two of our big leadership opportunities. Those are going to have applications in the fall, but will take place in the spring. And then we advise directly the University Programs Council, which is the university's student-led programming board. They put on concerts and all sorts of other things right off the bat in Wahoo Welcome, which is the first 2 weeks of classes. But you'll be able to, if you'd like, you can also join their group and help them plan big opportunities and events throughout the year. And then we also advise all student organizations. So there's 750-ish right now, and growing always. But we have kind of the opportunity to work with all those groups, and so can also encourage you to join those groups, start one of those groups, and of course, just be able to peruse and find a community, hopefully that is something of interest to you. And finally, we advise you. So any new students that are looking or interested in something but don't know exactly where to start, we're always looking for opportunities to connect with you. So please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help you kind of find what's next for you. So I mentioned UPC. So just really quickly, UPC is the programming board. Their objective is to provide students with a wide variety of entertaining and educational events and programs. They actually do something like 65 to 70 events every year. Those are broken up by lots of different groups, subgroups that you can actually join. So we have an arts and enrichments committee, cultural connection, cinema, concerts and music, smiles and giggles, comedy, which they do like comedians and stuff, late night specials, which I've never really been able to figure out quite what specials is, but they do a bunch of random stuff basically, and marketing. So if you're interested in being a part of planning a bunch of campus-wide programs, we are always looking for volunteers. Then some examples of the events that they've put on recently. They did Gobble Till You Wobble, which was a big dance contest held out on the lawn. They did a Match Made in Heaven. They did Halloween costume contest. They always do Bears and Scares, which is a stuff you build a bear basically, but on grounds in Newcomb Hall. They do the 21st night of September, which is a big dance party. This year, I believe they're hosting that at 1515, which we'll talk about at some point here soon. Rotunda Sing, which is one of the big standard kind of big UVA type events, and that's where all the a cappella groups sing out on the lawn in front of the rotunda. And then we do a bunch of Wahoo Welcome stuff, but specifically the concert. Last year, our concert was with Sway Lee. This year's concert artist hasn't been announced yet, but if you're following us on Instagram, you will be able to be the first to know who the new concert artist will be. All right, so I'm going to throw it over to Brittany really quickly, and she can run us through CIO support and development.
Hi, everyone. As Dave mentioned, my name is Brittany Terry. I primarily work with CIOs on grounds. So what are CIOs? So CIOs are contracted independent organizations. They're recognized through the university, through the organization branch of student council, and student engagement through an approved annual agreement, which is pretty much the CIO agreement. And we pretty much keep up with that throughout our CIO renewals every year. CIOs are prominently run by students on grounds, as you all may have heard already or will hear in your orientation sessions. Student self-governance is very real here. So students are often taking on that role of running the organization, whether it's financially requesting finances from student council or other resources, setting up meetings, just kind of making sure that that org management piece is there. You do not have to have an advisor for your CIO, but I do recommend having that support is always needed and necessary if that's what your CIO requires. So at least 51% of the members in a CIO have to be university students, but all officers for any CIO, they have to be university students. So just keep that in mind just in case you think about starting a CIO. There are currently 719 CIOs in counting. Emphasis on the in counting because, as I just mentioned, you are able to start your own CIO if you see that there's something missing and you want to bring that to the UVA community. So where can you get involved at? Well, we have our student engagement hub, Who's Involved. If you scan the QR code here, then it'll take you to Who's Involved, but you'll also get an orange pin in your welcome bag when you go to orientation. And it'll say who's involved on there as well to give you a little reminder of where to look for student organizations. But as it says on here, who's involved is our student engagement platform that houses all of our organizations. So while there's 719 CIOs, there's also agency CIOs and SSOs, and we won't get into that right now, but it just provides more resources and opportunities for you all to be a part of the UVA community. Who's involved also has like a profile for each organization where you can contact people. There is a contact tab. So if you're looking at an organization and you're interested before you attend the activities fair later during Wahoo Welcome, then you can contact via who's involved. There's an events calendar. So you might want to check that out if you're looking for different events to be a part of, experiences for involvement. It's a good way to track different experiences that you engaged in on grounds, and students can filter through all of the organizations because since there's a lot through tags and categories. Tags you can have with find free food or just free swag, anything that kind of sparks your interest. And then these are some of our categories. While we have a few here, there's definitely more categories to kind of sort through, just so that we're really kind of emphasis on like different things that you all may be involved in. And then ways that our office provides support for CIOs. So CIO Summit, if you do decide to be a part of the exec board of a CIO, we have the CIO Summit, which is somewhat like a training for CIO leaders to kind of help them with the org management piece, that leadership piece, and running their CIOs. Table Talk Tuesday to provide that community for them. The CIO transition training for our renewal process. We provide support via emails and office hours. So please feel free to stop in if you have any questions about getting involved. Renewals, and then we also assist student council in their application and finance process for new CIOs.
Perfect. Thank you, Brittany. I'm going to throw it over, and I know, and we're going to be kind of running through stuff here really quickly, but leadership and service opportunities, I'm going to throw it to Marie Claire.
Hi, everyone. As Dave mentioned, my name is Marie Claire Flavia. I use she, her pronouns. I am the program coordinator for leadership and service. I apologize for the program being over some of the words, but holistically, we do pride ourselves in not only self-governance, but also this idea of what it looks like for you to be a citizen leader. And that includes civic engagement as well as different leadership programs. And so as Dave mentioned, I advise two lovely leadership programs, Blueprint being more so project-based. As Dave mentioned, both of these programs have applications in the fall, and Blueprint is one of the ones that kind of start in later fall and fall into spring, whereas the Women's Leadership Development Program has their applications late in the fall semester and begin in the spring. And all of these are open to all students, but highly geared toward our first year, second years, and transfer students as well. And so, as mentioned, Blueprint is very much so project-based. So they take on a particular issue in the community and think through what it looks like for them to provide solutions or proposals for UVA leadership, as well as having engaged speakers across the time periods of their sessions. And then Women's Leadership Development Program is very much so based in session-based. So they have about 5 sessions in the spring where they're talking about things like professional resilience, as well as handling difference. And so with that being said, it's very much so based in community building as well as peer leading sessions. And then I mentioned public service. So with that being said, there is a UVA public service site. And so I highly recommend looking up the URL. If you literally type in UVA public service, this website will pop up. This is a really, really great way for you to begin understanding what the service landscape looks like at UVA. There are so many different departments involved in this on the academic side of the house, as well as the student affairs side of the house. And so with that being said, you'll find public service pathways on the page. You will find different one-off volunteer opportunities. And as Brittany mentioned, a great way to also see how student organizations are doing this is you can go onto Presence and filter it to say public service and find organizations that are doing that. So I would highly recommend being engaged in this and adding it to the service site.
There we go. All right, and then finally, spaces and programming. Tanisha, if you want to just quickly touch on 1515.
I got you. So, hello everyone. My name is Tanisha Austin. I use she, her pronouns. I am the program coordinator for 1515 Student Center, which is located on the corner. If you're not familiar with the corner, you're gonna get familiar with the corner for sure. It's located on the north side of the rotunda, if that makes any sense. So like the side where like it's the busy street. And we're smack dab in between the Canes and the Chipotle. 1515 generally is a space that was created by students for students. There's a program called the Meriwether Lewis Institute for Citizen Leaders, and students, they have a cohort model. If you're interested, you can definitely look them up. But they implemented this this space around 2018. And so we've been going and thriving and just being a hub for students to come and honestly make it whatever they want to make it. We have a stage on our main floor as well as a kitchen that students can use. When I say kitchen, I mean like, you know, microwave, refrigerator, sink, those types of things, not a stove, liability. And we have a studio upstairs, like a dance studio, as well as a game room downstairs. Just a whole bunch of different things to help you all be engaged with one another and build community in the space. I would love if y'all came and just stopped by and came to see me for sure. And then we have the PAC, which is a program and council space in Newcomb Hall. So it's located Newcomb Hall first floor. As soon as you come in the double doors from the bookstore, you go straight back and you can find most of my team there at any time. So if y'all need to locate them for anything, whether it's Brittany for CIOs or Marie Claire for leadership opportunities, definitely you can find them all there, as well as just coming in there after you get lunch from the PAV, the pavilion, I want to say 9 inside Newcomb Hall.
13, isn't it?
13, something. Pavilion something. You can get your food from there, or even the dining hall upstairs, and come down and chill in the PAC with us. We would love to have you. We have a few games there as well. And then we also at 1515 do a lot of programming. So the next slide is just like a list of some of the programs that we've done. I do want to highlight our 1515 community iftar, as well as our we call it Kendrick Lamar concert and football party. It was the Super Bowl watch party that we collaborated with OAAA and UPC to put on, as well as a few other events that were just for the general student population. 1515 is always going to be a space for all students. And so, yes, the last thing that I will say, because I know we have to keep this quick, is that I am hiring. So if y'all are interested in working and you're federal work study eligible, that's number one. And you like the idea of programming and creating events and things for your peers, as well as yourself to enjoy, definitely reach out to me. I can put my computing ID in the chat and just send me an email once you get to grounds, and we can either before you get to grounds or once you get to grounds, whichever one makes the most sense for you, and we can figure some stuff out. But yeah. And then we have a few upcoming events. I don't know if anyone else want to take this slide.
Here, I'll run through it real quick. Thanks, Tanisha. So we got open house. 1515 is going to have an open house during the rest of orientation sessions, which is B through J. So if you're showing up to orientation for the rest of the summer, we're looking at day 2 to 3:30. You can go and check out 1515 open house. There's a bunch of sessions like open houses and info sessions happening at that same time. So it's a good time to kind of just walk around, check out grounds, in particular, go and say hi to us. We're also, I just want to put on everybody's radar, Newcomb Hall Crawl is August 22nd. I know the 22nd isn't there, but it's the Friday before class, the first Friday, everybody gets there, moves in. And then that first Saturday after everybody moves in, that's when the Wahoo Welcome Concert is. As I mentioned earlier, the artist is to be named, but will be coming out very soon. And then the Fall Activities Fair was the 25th, which is the Monday before classes start. So that's when all the student organizations are going to be kind of out and about and being able to connect with all of them. It's kind of crazy and awesome and overwhelming and hot, but a really, really fun day where you get to just meet a whole bunch of different folks from different organizations, put your email down for a million things. and then see how it goes. Those are all going to be posted. Lots more information to be posted on our Instagram. So do follow us there at UVA Student Engagement. We do also share out a lot of information from other areas, which is probably a good transition to throw it off to some of those other areas. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but we're going to send it over to our friends at OAAA, and Shimon Boone is going to take over. Dr. Boone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shimon Boone, and I am one of the assistant deans in the Office of African American Affairs, OAAA, from which everybody calls it. So I'm just going to pull up our website so that you can have a chance to see this as I'm talking. And yeah, so the Office of African American Affairs is a unit within the Division of Student Affairs established in 1976. Our mission is to create an inclusive and supportive environment where all students can thrive academically, socially, and personally. We collaborate with both academic and non-academic units to ensure students have access to the resources and support they need to succeed. While our historic focus has been on supporting African American students, we are committed to building meaningful connections across communities and advocating for policies and practices that promote success for all students. The resources we deliver through OAAA are available to all students and focus deeply on student success, mentoring and advising, personal and professional development, and health and wellness. Some of the programs and services that we do offer is our peer advising program, which is peer mentoring and support for first year and transfer students. So if you see on our website, in the far right corner, it says Welcome UVA 2029. If you click on Learn More, that'll be your way to opt in if you would like to have a peer advisor assigned to you, to basically kind of help you out through your first year here. And so, yeah, you click on that, it gives you all the information. You can opt in to be matched with a peer advisor. We also have the Grad Star Mentoring Initiative. Actually, that's the program that I direct. And so basically for second and third year students, it's an academic and professional development skills building program to which you get matched with a faculty staff mentor. And so that also is on our website if you want to find out any more information about it. The application is there as well. If you go under programs on the top bar, it says programs, it'll have the Grad Star Mentoring Initiative. You can look into that. We also have the Luther P. Jackson Cultural Center, where we do cultural programming, celebrations, and social events. We also have study and lounge spaces in our buildings on Dawson's Row. So if any of you are come to grounds, it's right behind the amphitheater. And so we have 3 buildings behind there. So we have study spaces that are comfortable and welcoming in all of our OAAA facilities and open to all students. We also have free printing that is very important, that you'll find out that it'll be very helpful to you, available to all students in the OAAA spaces. So all you have to do is come into our office and request to get some printing, whether it be your syllabus or any of your papers. We can do that for you. We have 3 deans that actually are housed in our building. And so we all do academic and professional development coaching. So we meet with students one-on-one to support them to reach their goals. And so you're welcome to make an appointment. That also is on our website. When you kind of look at it and go through the About Us, it'll have like information about all of the deans in the office. And you can make an appointment and we can help you out with whatever you're dealing with. And lastly, we have a newsletter that comes out weekly. And that basically gives you information about events, opportunities, and resources that we provide. And so that's basically OAAA. And what I'm going to do is stop sharing right now and turn it over to Carissa at MSS. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carissa Temerson. I use they, she pronouns, and I work for Multicultural Student Services. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and then I'm going to run through the programs and services that we offer in my office. So first, we're going to just look at our staff members. So first person is Dean Vicki Gist. She's a senior associate dean of students, and the director of, sorry, it's gonna hit a little bit, multicultural student services. She does strategic unit leadership. Second person's me. I'm an assistant director. I oversee the LGBTQ Center, the Latinx Student Center, do Native Indigenous community engagement and cultural programs, and intercultural education. Davon Lewis is a program coordinator who oversees the Multicultural Student Center and the Asian American Student Center, does student success programming, so academic success, wellness programming. We'll talk more about all of these areas in a little bit. Does new student engagement, so for first years and transfer students, and marketing for our office. And then Delaney Corey does interfaith student support and works with the Interfaith Student Center. So a brief just overview of the mission of our office. MSS fosters intercultural engagement. We celebrate diverse perspectives, promote student success for all students. We have programs that encourage cross-cultural understanding. We try to build inclusive communities and empower students to explore and express identities while cultivating their unique strengths and potentials. And we work for and with students to develop programs offered through our various centers. And those centers are all located in Newcomb Hall, which is also where our colleagues in student engagement have the PAC, the programs and council area. And we work to help students find community and support, expand learning, and strengthen their sense of belonging at UVA. And our centers specifically offer meeting and program space for student groups, study space. We have computers. We also have free printing, and comfortable lounge areas. And the centers are open to everyone. We have all sorts of students just hanging out there all day long, doing all sorts of things, studying, hanging out with friends, doing like programs with their student organizations, engaging in programs that we have in our spaces. So just a very brief overview of the programs and services that we offer. So we have transition activities. So those are things to help welcome new students to UVA. We have student success programs, so academic, career-related, wellness programming. We do cultural awareness and educational programs. We have community engagement for all of our communities, and community building and belonging. And we do intercultural engagement and education work. And again, our student centers are the Multicultural Student Center, LGBTQ Center, Interfaith Student Center, Latinx Student Center, and Asian American Student Center. So first, we'll just go over the transition programs. So that consists of peer mentoring programs and new student engagement programs. We have 3 different peer mentoring programs under the purview of our office. Those programs are the Peer Advising Family Network, the Hispanic Latinx Mentoring Program, and the Middle Eastern North African Mentoring Program. Those programs engage in involvement and community building. They have large scale programs for community building and also do mostly academic and career related success work. They have fun, informative, and free activities, and it helps incoming students really expand their community of friends. Any student that's interested in getting a mentor can opt into these programs. We encourage all incoming students to definitely sign up for a mentor program because that is honestly one of the best ways to get connected with like the student organizations, the CIOs that you might be interested in. An older student can help you actually figure out which ones would be best for you. It helps get you connected to academic resources. It helps you make friends when you get here. So with our QR code here, if you are interested in getting a mentor through one of our programs, please scan the QR code. It'll take you to a very brief form that asks your name, your computing ID, and if you're interested in any or all of the mentor programs that we have, we just ask you to select those, and then we'll send you more info about that specific program or those specific programs and how to opt into the program. So you can receive a mentor, and you can do one, you can do multiple programs, but definitely scan the QR code if you're interested. You can also email our office, multicultural@virginia.edu. I have the contact info at the end as well, and you can also ask more information. But your mentors would consistently meet with you as new students, take you to student success programming that was planned by us or recommended by our office. They provide social and community building opportunities and connect new students with relevant resources across the university. Next, we have student success, so academic and career related resources and personal support. Here's just like an example of some programs that we've had. We focus a lot of our academic and career related success programs in the Multicultural Student Center. We have Food and Foresight Friday, which invites different academic departments or other departments at UVA to come in and talk about their programs. We definitely try to prioritize getting like the application-based majors, any types of like application-based volunteer programs or work opportunities to come in and like talk to students. It's a really great way to connect kind of one-on-one with the people that will be helping to make those decisions. We have drop-in advising, so we do academic advising. We have student financial services come in and talk to students. We have the Career Center come in. The pre-professional series takes students on a day in the life of a grad student trip to one of our grad schools. So if you're interested in business school, law school, or med school, we'll take students to those different areas in the springtime. So those are really great opportunities to meet with professors, meet with actual grad students, take a mock class. We do a career development series where we hit on a bunch of different career topics. We have individual support for students. So any student that needs or wants individual support can meet with any member of our staff, and we can help connect them to resources and help them kind of plan out for their semester, their future. Things I wish I knew, we bring in esteemed faculty members to just come talk about their career journey and how they got to where they are and answer questions and meet with students. STEM tutoring in the MSc, we just bring that into Newcomb Hall so that there is more accessible tutoring for some of the like intro, really first year targeted STEM classes. So for example, we have calculus often in the Multicultural Student Center. It's a great tutoring opportunity. It's really convenient. We have success interns. We have student interns that will host programs to help with academic and career related success programs. Cultural awareness and education. We have our student centers, we have leadership development programs, and we do cultural awareness and celebrations. So these are photos of our centers, again, all in Newcomb Hall. They're kind of on all different floors of Newcomb Hall, but if you come for orientation this month, you can walk around and all of our centers will be open. We'll also be at the resource fair when you're at orientation, so we can answer your questions. We can tell you if you're interested in seeing like a specific center, we can point you in that direction and answer more questions that you might have. Leadership development programs. If you're interested in leadership development, our programs also have applications in the fall and occur for the most part in the spring. For first and second years, and then also third years who are transfer students or any other year of transfer students. Our spring semester programs are the Asian Pacific American Leadership Training Institute, the Latinx Leadership Institute, and the Muslim Institute for Leadership and Empowerment. And they really focus on leadership through these like cultural lenses and practices for leadership. So anyone who's interested in learning about kind of leadership practices from like a specific cultural standpoint, we encourage students to get involved. They're really interesting. You learn about like history and like leadership skills and development. We do have a program that's specifically for second and third years, which is the Women's Asian American Leadership Initiative. That also happens in the fall. So we do recruitment at the beginning of the semester, and then it starts like a few weeks into the semester. And that just takes like a more specific kind of focus on leadership from like the standpoint and like practices of like women who have Asian American identity. And it's also a really interesting class where you learn about kind of media and history and some leadership development skills. So anyone who's interested in growing as a leader and fostering your leadership skills, having personal growth, learning about history should definitely look into these, and they will be advertised for in the fall once you're actually at school. Some opportunities that we have to just get involved in our programs. So we have volunteer programs in all of our centers. We have interns. We have professional staff that work with all of our spaces. So you can connect with our staff members. We do cultural celebrations in our centers. We have community building opportunities. Student organizations, so CIOs can reserve our spaces and host events in our different areas. We do community engagement work. We have some like signature events and programs for like cultural celebration in like our different spaces. And then these graphics are just different graphics or like photos from different events that we've hosted. We do multicultural community engagement. So we have the Multicultural Community Center where we do more specific community building, advising, support, and advocacy work. So we really focus on the Multicultural Student Center as the hub of intercultural engagement, education, community building, and student success programming. We have interns in there that also help put on programs for students. We have specific programs for first year students to help you like meet people and engage with people. So we have a dinner series for first years. We also have a series for transfer students. We have a once a month Feel Good Fridays, which is like a lunchtime Friday event to have lunch, to like engage in like a game or a craft or get to know each other. We have intercultural education, and again, we have student organizations able to reserve our spaces to have meetings and programs. Lastly, we do intercultural education and engagement work. So we have a series of programs that are designed to be educational, to help people with like dialogue across different groups. We really try to encourage people to come in who have a variety of perspectives and come talk to each other, engage in some educational programming, and meet people that they maybe haven't met before in our centers. A lot of this is focused in the Multicultural Student Center, and these are some graphics from programs that we have done in the past. So again, if you have any questions or you didn't catch the QR code for the mentor programs, or you want to learn more, or if you want to get on our newsletter, which we also send out weekly, you can email us at multicultural@virginia.edu. We will be happy to answer any of your questions, send you links to things. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we have the Multicultural Student Services Instagram page, MSS_UVA. And then we also have an Instagram page for the LGBTQ Center, so UVA LGBTQ. But definitely encourage you to follow us on Instagram, email us with questions, check on that QR code or email us to get the link to that, and sign up to get a mentor, because that's one of the great ways to start getting involved at UVA.
All right, so feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom, should be at the bottom of your screen, to submit questions, anything you might want to be interested in, topics you want to know more about, if you need any repetition of like the services or any links to anything. Student engagement, I don't know if you saw, but there was one about your QR code that didn't work. So if you want to drop that link in the chat as well. But students, ask away about literally anything. Somebody should have the answer on this call. There's a lot of us. So Britt just shared our link to Presence, which is like our student engagement website. So you can start exploring which kind of student orgs or the CIOs that were mentioned you'd like to look at. It's also on your new student checklist. It's referred to as the Modern Campus Involve app, I think is the name, the phone app name. But they're essentially the same thing. And it's used quite a bit for events and things like that when you start in the fall. Okay, so we got a question on IDs. So we have mobile IDs, which are available as an option to students right now, or physical IDs. As far as football games, they should be accepting both now. For anything on grounds moving forward, both would be accepted.
I know one of the questions we've been getting a lot through the first orientation at least. And we normally get this question too, is kind of as a first year student, how do you get involved, like actually start this process, and what does that sort of look like successfully, I suppose. It can be kind of overwhelming. And so I just want to kind of make a quick note here. So really, any of the opportunities that we've talked about today are incredible places to start. And so no matter what you end up really wanting your experience to be, it really all starts with the reality of it starts with you, you know. So UVA is really only as unique as you make it. So make sure that you take time and space to really explore all the different things that are out there for you. And try lots of different things. I always say it's kind of like a buffet. You can try a little bit of everything and then go back for seconds for the thing you really like. So, explore, check out one of the student centers, check out OAAA, check out CIOs, multiple CIOs, check out, the student activities fair or programming that's going to be happening on grounds, especially in the first few weeks of classes. And then don't stay involved in everything. It's okay to quit things too. So if it's not going well or you don't enjoy that, I'd strongly encourage you to, really pick and choose at some point what's really important to you. Because a couple of really great experiences that are really meaningful are so much more valuable than, 10, 15, 20 opportunities that you're in, but really aren't meaningful at all. And so, at some point you need to kind of choose to navigate that in a way that makes sense to you. But I really just want to emphasize, there's not going to be someone at UVA that's going to go and pull you into every program that might apply to you or that might be interesting to you. You need to really take this opportunity to go and explore that and find something that really meets your needs and hopefully helps not only, you find a community and a space and place to feel connected, but also it can be fun and hopefully also educational and can help be something that you maybe put on a resume one day and is really something that helps build out skills and abilities for you as well. So there's lots of deep, meaningful connections, but it all starts with you and kind of making that first step. I see a question in the chat here with recent policy changes coming from the White House. Are there any of these wonderful opportunities and experiences on the chopping block? And certainly there's lots of things happening in higher ed right now. And so it's a great question, and I'm sure it might be on many people's minds. I'm going to actually throw that to Carissa, and maybe she can kind of give a good sense of a good overview of that response.
So all of our programs are open to everybody. We are very dedicated to making sure that all students feel like very welcomed to all of our programs. Our centers have always, like all of our student centers from every office here have always been open to all UVA students, and all UVA students are encouraged to engage in our programs. Similarly, with all of our mentorship programs and our leadership development programs, we've always encouraged all students to please get involved in all of those because they are wonderful educational opportunities, bonding opportunities, leadership development, mentorship opportunities. And so we are doing our best to make sure that everybody feels like genuinely welcomed, that we want people to like please get involved in these. So our programs are all, open to everyone, legally permissible programs. And so we are like operating under the assumption that the things that we're doing are legally permissible and that we want everyone to get involved. So again, I want to emphasize, especially for mentorship programs for incoming students, please sign up for one. Whatever one looks interesting to you, I highly recommend that you get involved in some sort of mentorship opportunity at UVA because it is the best way for you to make friends, for you to get connected to things. And I know this wasn't part of the question, but I also wanted to just like put out there that to get involved in student organizations, if you like get to grounds and you go to the activities fair that happens the day before classes start, it can be really overwhelming. So I would highly recommend that you take a look at who's involved, which Brittany had sent the link to. Look and see what organizations you might be interested in. Take a look at them on Instagram and like really try to figure out which ones you might want to sign up for. And then try to go seek them out at the activities fair instead of stopping at every booth because you won't have time to, and it will feel very overwhelming. So do your research, follow the organizations on Instagram that you want to follow. Any offices that you're interested in getting involved with, follow them on Instagram. Do your research ahead of time, have a list, and then go out there. But again, I can't emphasize enough, join a mentorship program. They are so important. All of the offices here have mentorship and leadership development for you. So you should definitely look into that.
Yeah, for sure. And we also had another
Well said.
question in the chat. They
I
were-
will also, we had a question related to the concert and tickets, so shifting gears here. And so yes, the Wahoo Welcome concert is free to all students. I'll probably just make a pretty, I think this is fairly accurate blanket statement to say all the Wahoo Welcome events are free. So as you get more information about those out there, you'll see lots and lots of events that are going to be happening during Wahoo Welcome. You can actually go to the OTP transition website, maybe is what
Yeah.
Betty's unmuting to
Yep.
say.
So sometime throughout the summer, not too long, our Wahoo Welcome website will be updated with the schedule of events. So we're just finalizing some details. You got a preview of some of the things that might be there, but it'll be a much more comprehensive schedule. And they're really fun, exciting, free opportunities to meet other new students, whether you're a first year or transfer. But a lot of our continuing students come back as well for some of these pieces. So you'll get to connect with some of the upperclassmen as well, and then meet some of these resources again in person. I also want to say that everyone on this call, their offices are represented in some way at our resource fair at your summer orientation. So that's another opportunity in person for you to connect with them and stop by their table and ask questions as well. And Tanisha, I think you were going to say something, so I just wanted to make sure we could hear you.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say exactly what Dave said. All of all UPC events in general are free for students. So that's throughout the entire year. I will say follow them on Instagram, follow student engagement on Instagram as well at UVA Student Engagement, just so that you can be aware of those events when they happen, because sometimes they'll have like registration where, you know, once the registration cap is filled, you won't be able to register for them. So just keep that in mind. And then going back to one of the previous questions that we were answering. So I'm actually a UVA alum. I'm not sure if anyone, I don't think anyone is. Anyways, I'm a UVA alum, and I will say that getting involved was like, what I used to do was just like go into random buildings and introduce myself to the people sitting in there and just like build relationships like that. And then I also wanted to emphasize that those peer mentoring opportunities are very, very crucial to your experience. So if you have the opportunity to opt into them, I absolutely do encourage you to do so, because it's going to make a world of difference in your experience, especially as in your first semester coming into this whole new world, like kind of by yourself. So just keep that in mind. That's all.
I promise we don't bite. It's virtual. We can't anyway. Is there anything else that you all might have out there? Question wise? All right, I'll throw out one more unasked question answer. So one of the, we did mention this.
Someone is at front door.
Someone's at my front door. That's the question. We do get a question a lot of just kind of how do you navigate the 400 or the 700 student organizations that are on grounds, and just kind of how to get there. I know we mentioned who's involved, but I do want to just quickly note that is keyword searchable, and it's also searchable by category. So it does make digesting that a little bit easier. So if you are trying to find something specific, or even just in the name of, you know, like I like biology, or I want to do something that's more social, it can give you some opportunities to kind of explore that without kind of having to just scroll through a giant list. So as Carissa mentioned, the Student Activities Fair is a lot. It's great, but it is also overwhelming is a good term. So it's a good opportunity to take a look at who's involved, where you'll see most of the events for the Division of Student Affairs, all the UPC events are there. Most of the big departmental things that are happening on grounds are in who's involved, so you can see all those events. And then all student organizations are there, whether they're a CIO or an SSO or an agency, which that would include like student council or University Board of Elections or the friends that are doing programming at UPC, right? All of those organizations are also listed in who's involved, so you can find them, search them, talk to them, reach out to them, see their profile information, all that fun stuff. You'll also be able to see like, do they charge dues? Are they competitive? Do you need an application? So it's a really good first stop if you're kind of trying to navigate just the craziness that is getting involved with a student org in particular. I know that question comes up a lot, so I just wanted to kind of provide that little tidbit. Any other questions? Got a couple here pop into the chat. I see. Thank you all for the information. You're welcome. Not a question, but I love it anyway. It's perfect. How can I listen to the Zoom again? Betty, you got that, right? Oh, you're muted.
This will be posted by tomorrow on our Wednesday webinars website, so you can see this recording and any of our past recordings as well. And I know questions on another part of engagement that might come up for a lot of students is how to get involved in Greek life. So that's one of our upcoming webinars. It's actually scheduled for next Wednesday, July 9th. Yeah, so you'll be able to get that information on Greek life.
We just got this question. What are some of the craziest CIOs?
I know I hear a lot about Serial Club.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Yeah, Serial Club
Serial
has
Club, always
the
a
go-to
great
example.
reputation, fun reputation, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have a vice
They just
president
like
for
cereal.
milk.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. We have Quidditch. I think actually one of my favorite CIOs is it's crazy in a different way. It's not crazy because it's weird. It's crazy because of what they actually are doing. So the aerospace club is building an actual plane that they can fly in. So you can get in on that. And then there's similarly, the solar car team is building a solar car that is actually competitive. And they go and race it around at different events around the country. So those are some like pretty crazy like things that they're up to. I don't know, Brittany, do you have any good, really random ones?
I think the Serial Club is probably the most random thing that I've seen in a sense, but yeah, just echoing Dave. It's not crazy in the sense of what they're just more so unique, very specific.
And if you can find like-minded peers, go for it.
But that also
We're
just
all
shows
for it.
that shows you if there's something that you feel like is missing, like if it's very specific or if it's something that you really want to see, you can make it happen.
All right, y'all, did we do it?
Anyone feel like there's still some unanswered pieces on engagement that they need to hear about, or mentorship or leadership?
I'll pop in and say one thing. That, we're talking a lot about CIO involvement, and as like a new student coming into UVA, it might be intimidating to think about how it might cost money to be involved in CIOs. Like if you are having to pay for like outfits for things, or you're trying to go on a trip with your CIO, or you're trying to like engage in something, but there is something called the Cavalier Fund. So when you actually get to UVA, you can apply to something called the Cavalier Fund, which will give you up to $1,000 to participate in co-curricular activities. It has to at least be an activity that's related to some sort of like formal organization or like unit. And you can apply for funding, and the money will come like through kind of the organization or unit that you're working with, but that will actually pay for any, expenses that you might personally have when trying to do, events with a student organization, with like a program you're involved in through a unit. And so you should just keep that in mind. The Cavalier Fund, you can Google it and look it up, and like look at all of the requirements and like the application process and what that looks like. But it is something to like just know about, that if you do want to get involved and you're like, ooh, but I don't know if like I can afford, to buy like an outfit for a dance group and I want to be in a dance group, like you can get funding for that. So it's a helpful tidbit.
That is a really, really great point, Krista. Thank you for bringing that up. And it does not affect your financial aid either. So just be aware of that. It is something that you can apply for and get funds for, and it doesn't even count against any of your financial aid packages and what have you that might be coming through from other areas. So that's awesome.
And these are the offices we included about student engagement today, but we actually have a lot of other offices under the Student Affairs Division. They also have multiple services offered. And so the Cavalier Fund is actually under our Who's First office, and that particular office serves first generation college students as well as limited income students. And that's why that fund is under that. So if you want to get connected to that office, check out Who's First as well. Check out on our Student Affairs Divisional website. You can explore all of those offices and their services there.
Another one of the ones that's not here, and I'm surprised we didn't get any questions about it, but fraternity and sorority life isn't here. And I know a lot of people do end up wanting to look into fraternities and sororities. The part of the reason they're not in this webinar is that most of them don't recruit. Our traditional fraternities and sororities don't have fall recruitment. So they'll be recruiting in the spring. So if that is something that you're interested in, just stay tuned, look out for information. Some of the multicultural Greek organizations do have fall recruitment, but a lot of that's going to be posted on the Fraternity and Sorority Life page, as well as the MGC Council's page. So more information is coming out about that once you get to grounds, and you'll see which organizations specifically are doing recruitment, but the traditional sororities and fraternities won't do anything until the spring. So just kind of be aware of that.
Yep.
And,
Or come to next week's webinar and they'll answer all your
oh, there is
questions.
okay, they have their own.
Next
So
week.
they'll be
Mhm.
here next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you to all of our presenters for all of that information. Students, if you have any other questions, feel free to contact anyone here. Stop by their tables at the resource fair, check out our recording on our Wednesday webinars page, or reach out to the orientation office, which is orientation@virginia.edu, and we will make sure that you get connected. So if you can't remember everyone, it's totally fine. We'll help you figure that out. But thank you all and have a good night.